Step into a vibrant Saturday morning cartoon world as a hero of MYTHFORCE, where nostalgia meets roguelike gameplay. Whether you're Victoria the Knight or Rico the Rogue, each defeat only makes you stronger for your next dungeon crawl. Armed with legendary weapons and magical artifacts, you'll face off against the dark forces of Daedalus in a castle teeming with treasure and traps. Go solo or team up in a 4-player co-op, but choose wisely, as each hero adds unique skills to the battle. Will you conquer the ever-changing dungeon and thwart tyranny? The adventure resets, but the thrill never fades. I'm the Gaming Nerd, a game capture artist and video editor within the gaming industry, and more than 10,000 hours of hands-on gaming experience. In this video, I'll be evaluating MYTHFORCE to see if it's worth your hard-earned money and merits the esteemed nerd seal of approval. Alright, let's dive right in. You're here because you want the lowdown on this medieval hack and slash magic fest known as MYTHFORCE. And let me tell you, the first-person perspective in this genre, it's a real treat. A different pace to guns, sword in hand, casting spells like you're the Merlin of the digital age. Now let's talk setting. Picture this, 1980s Saturday morning cartoons. If you're like me and you've been missing that iconic era, you're in for another treat. MYTHFORCE absolutely nails it. The nostalgia hits you like a wave and it's absolutely epic. But what's a game without its characters, right? Each hero comes with their own set of weapons and unique abilities. You've got Victoria the Knight, Rico the Rogue, and more. The variety here allows for some killer strategies, keeping the gameplay fresh. Just like if you want to know what games to buy to keep your collection fresh as well, you will smash the subscribe button. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The game's RNG based healing system and the separate grind paths for each character can make progression feel like you're running on a treadmill. You're moving, but are you really getting anywhere? And speaking of going places, let's chat about the level design. While the levels are procedurally generated, they somehow manage to feel, well, repetitive. It's like eating your favourite meal every day. Eventually, you're gonna get tired of it. Don't even get me started on the online limitations. You can't save your progress when your PlayStation is in rest mode. And imagine being on the cusp of victory only to come back and find you've been booted to square one. A bit frustrating, isn't it? I also found trying to find a co-op game online really difficult. Never had a full party of 4, and well, to say the least, the other people weren't that great at doing teamwork. But if you're a lone wolf, listen up. This game leans heavily towards team play, so going solo, prepare for a roller coaster of difficulty levels that will have you questioning your life choices. So let's switch gears and talk about entertainment. The in-game music is so quiet it's almost like someone hit the mute button. A missed opportunity, especially when you consider how 80s tunes could have made this experience a head-banging good time. And this is especially for the MYTHFORCE special ability. The iconic sound plays, MYTHFORCE! But then it just doesn't really feel that epic. I just feel like they could have done a lot more here. As for the pacing of the game, sometimes it's like watching paint dry. The slow spawn rates of enemies can really kill the vibe, making you wonder if your adventure has turned into a waiting game. Literally, as you can't progress until you've killed all of the enemies that aren't spawning. Character progression is another hiccup too. You can switch characters, sure, but the gold and runes don't transfer. You're essentially bottlenecked into using your upgraded characters to progress, or you're stuck replaying old missions to play catch-up. Not really ideal. Which brings me to replayability. The game lacks incentives like new perks or weapons. Because it's really hard to progress, it really felt like the game lacked in the incentives of new perks or weapons because I just couldn't get them fast enough, making the game feel at time really stagnant, which is a massive shame. The levels, especially the early ones, don't really offer enough variety to make you want to revisit them. And the easy level isn't easy, so you're going to be facing these a lot anyway. And talking about difficulty scaling, it's like the game is forcing you to grind, but not really without any good payoff. So moving on to the final section of the nerd seal of approval, the D, decision. Do you or do you not buy this game? I really had high hopes for MYTHFORCE. I really wanted to enjoy it. But there's other issues that I haven't mentioned before, such as glitch popping, graphics flickering all over the place, The swordplay itself just feels really clunky and the amount of times I swing my heavy hit only to miss because the aim assist on this game is just awful. I played the game for as long as I could to really try to get the best out of it, but in the end, because of the grind and just the lack of experiencing anything new, such as new weapons or new magical abilities, and getting stuck at certain chapters until I was forced to upgrade my character a lot more than I was willing to do, I just ended up getting bored. So unfortunately, for the first time in a while, this game is not getting the Nerd Seal of Approval. I don't think you should buy this game just yet, but I would keep an eye out to see if they do any wicked updates in the future. And of course, if they do, I'll be the first person to tell you. So make sure to subscribe so you can get the best expert opinion on what games to buy. But if you are on the lookout for a game to really sink loads of hours in, check out my review on screen right now of Borderlands 3. They just dropped a wicked bundle for cheap as chips price. So go and check that one out. See you there.